What's up, guys? Welcome to day 2 of my small account challenge, where I am taking a little bit of money, especially right now, very little account, and trying to fold it in, flip it into $1,000 within a week or two. I'm still waiting on my $200 account balance to be posted, which I hope will be posted tomorrow. I believe it will be posted where I can trade options with it. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have a little more money to deal with, and hopefully while I'm at work I have some free time to watch the charts and get in and make a trade. Luckily, again today I did have the time, which was good. I had a good day. And plus with my win yesterday, I was up around $80 to work with today. So with that $80, I was able to make a pretty good profit. I just kind of walk you through my day, try to teach you a little something about what I was seeing. I know in my first video I didn't really go over too much about why I took it. So tonight I'm going to plan on showing you a little bit more, hopefully, why I decided to take that trade. So let's start off by showing you here. This is the hourly. Looking back out to the daily here. The SPY, as you know, I trade on the SPY right now, only the SPY. I try to keep it simple. I trade the expiring options. If you're familiar with SPY options, you have 3 expiring dates throughout the week, which is awesome because you can make a lot of money very quickly. However, it is very risky. So please, if you start doing this, do so with funds that you can't lose. So just make sure you're well rehearsed with your strategy, and just stick to a plan. And so let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so SPY here, as we see, we're getting to the top of an all-time high at 286.58. Plus this channel here, we're getting near that top of that channel. So I'm treading lightly on going long. So I am expecting a little consolidation, maybe one more big pop before the pullback, or it might be a little pullback now, and then it might run through the highs. But it's still too early to tell. As you can see here now, the day has ended, so we have some indecisive day chart and day candlesticks here after that gap up. So we just have to keep an eye on it and see where it goes. So let's dig on in and see how today went. Excuse me. So alright, as we dig in here, this is the hourly. I did mark this here as we did gap up yesterday to this here. So I did have this here because a lot of times when you get these small gaps, there's a high percentage chance that these gaps get filled. So whenever you do see these gaps, just keep in mind where they're at, and if you see it coming down, there's a good strong possibility it's going to cover that gap, hopefully cover that gap and do a little pop, which is kind of what happened today. Well, exactly what happened today. So let's get started here on the minute chart, which I trade off of. Go back to 9:30. The market opens, and I was actually working at this time. I was unable to watch it until about 9:45. Once I got in and seen 9:45, I started to see this pattern here where it was kind of choppy and creating this wedge. So actually I left this line here that I actually drew during the day, just so I can kind of go over what I've seen. And my really big, my main goal here was, if it went over this line, I was going to go long. If it went below, this line here, I was going to go short. And that was the wedge that it was creating. And it had been confirmed too. So if it would have dipped here, I would have waited until I seen another candle going down before I would have went short. I would have made sure it was some confirmation, because as you tell here, it did dip below here, but like it said, there was a confirmation that it was going to reverse with that candlestick here, which a hammer, and it sure enough did. So that's exactly what I did. As this time was going along, I was watching. We had a pop here, so I waited, and then it's confirmed the uptrend, and we had a good amount of volume. So I did get in here with this volume, with this confirmation that was broken that trend line, and I felt good that we were going to go to the green. So I got in at 10:08 at 26 cents. And having $80 on my account, I was able to get 2 calls, and the calls that I used for today was a strike at 285.50. Make sure this is right. August 8th. Yes, so the calls I did today was at 285.50. Expiring today, because I felt that once we made this was definitely going to run up. So there's a little risk there. I could have took a 285. It cost me a little bit more money. I'm not sure what it was at the time, but I probably would have only got 1 contract. But the more contracts you have, the better chances you are to make a profit quickly, because when it comes to fees, you gotta have a huge move for 1 contract to work. So they able to get 2 and at 26. So I had $52 invested plus the fees, which is around $8.50. So around $60 was what I had in this trade here. So once they started going, it started running. As I said before, keep an eye on this exponential 9-day or 9-minute moving average. It tends to run along this. This is one thing I've noticed is it seems to, once it gets away from it, it does come back and kind of runs again. So once it got here, I didn't have the money I wanted to get out. Let's see here, it popped up there to 30 cents, so 32, even 60. Yeah, I was basically breaking, actually losing, as I would have had more fees when I sold, so I lost around $8 getting out there. So I did not get out. I kind of expected it to pull back to the VWAP and then kind of level out and continue to run. But as you see, that was not the case. It actually started coming down, and it came down some more, and I was contemplating on where to make an exit. I knew this line here, there was a gap to be covered there because it never actually covered here, this low point. This low point was at 285.01, and to cover that gap, I had to get at 284.99. I wrote it down. Then once it came back, and it got about 50% of this fallback. If you ever pay attention, a lot of times when you get these pullbacks, you'll see a 50% kind of pullback, and then it will turn around to go the other way. That's exactly what happened here. It fell, and about 50% of that fall had some indecisive candles here, which showed you no one knows which way it's going to go. The sellers are stepping in now and taking over some of the buyers. So then it went back down here, and as this was happening, I was ready to sell for a loss. The loss wouldn't have been huge. It got down basically to, excuse me when I say it wasn't huge, but it was down to 14 cents. It wasn't huge because I ain't got $60 invested. However, I went from 26 to 14 if I'd have sold out there. So I'd have went from, it'd been a substantial loss, probably 60% loss just in those few minutes there. So I was sweating a little. However, once we covered that gap, we had a strong buy. As you see, volume kind of came in, and we had this hammer at the bottom, which is a good indicator that we may see a reversal, especially once it's confirmed. Next chart, or next candlestick came out. It did run back down, but it never got close to here. It actually stayed here and went right back up. So, you're having these buyers come in down here and running the price back up. You got about 50%. A lot of shorters came in here, or a lot of sellers came in here and thinking it was going to run back down. People were starting to get nervous as we were at that pivotal point here. So a lot of people got out once they got this initial pop. They just ran. Luckily, it came back down. It touched that 285, which is a good middle barrier. Sat on it for a second, and then it took off. And once it took off, and this 9 crossed a 20, which is a good indicator that you're going to run for a little bit. If you ever watch between the 9 and the 20, you see it crossed here, it went down, and then it crossed back up here. 9 crossed over 20, and now you have an uptrend. So this is where I started watching it and just kept an eye on it here. It would pop up, get away from this 9, it would consolidate. As you see, it creates that wedge. A flag, it touched this 9, it took back off, and then it had a good step here. It did took off a little bit more than I wanted, which is why you see this a little larger pullback here. But then it consolidated, got close to that 9, took off again. It took off big here, pulled back, and then, as you said, it pulled all the way up here before it started kind of rounding off. Now I decided, all right, it was about time to get out, but I really was getting a little greedy once it got here. I should have probably been getting out around here, especially. This was the open, so it filled this gap. Really should have been thinking about getting out here, but like I said, I got a little greedy and wanted to ride it out. At this point, it was at 33, so I was up $14. So to get that $16 fees covered, I need to get the $16 to break even. So that was my main reason I didn't want to get out. I wanted to make money. I think I try to make profit. That I'm already rode this thing out this far. Why not try to make some money? So now that we're over 285.50, my calls actually, and the K slows down a little bit, because you're actually in the money at that point. You wasn't out of money. So now I'm in the money. It definitely helps each pop that it goes up. So once it comes back down and touched the 285.50, it just kind of teeter-tottered here, and it got high here, 66, 285.66. But then I seen a pop here where then 85.66, and it started falling. So then I'm emotionally I'm thinking I probably should get out, but I'm still at this point barely breaking even. I'm still looking around 35. I'm making $2 or $4 profit, which I just can't come to terms with risking $60 to make $4. Even though it is a profit, I just didn't want to do so. So I waited, and it ran back up here again, and finally I believe it popped at some point at 67, maybe not. Okay, so it stayed along 66. It had another huge pullback here, back down to 44. So this is where I start trying to find where's my out. I'm throwing a plan out, which is a terrible idea, but I'm hoping since this is a quick rundown, we can at least get a 50% pop, and I can kind of get out here and make some money back to this point. I think I was, was at 30 cents, so I've got $8 profit after sitting. I'm losing $8 here. So I'm thinking if I can get a pop here, I can get some of that money back and at least break even. However, we had a really good run through here, which kept me in. Once I seen this pop, I waited for a confirmation, which was a little dangerous because this could have easily went right back down, and kept going. But once this candle made that high there, it popped over and made that high. This was confirmation that it was going back up to at least here. And then it ran through that and hit that 70 mark. Just remember, so once it hit that middle stop at 70, it ran back down. Then it came right back up here, and it popped. So now I'm at the point now where I'm happy, but I'm getting greedy. because just from that strength, that move up, and it was consolidating. It wasn't dipping below the 9, or excuse me, dipping below this 9 moving average. I decided to let's hold it out. However, this is at 11:30, between 11:30 and 11:45, and I'm Eastern time zone, so I was ready to eat lunch. So seriously, the reason I got out of this trade at around this time was because I was ready to go get something to eat, and I definitely didn't want to walk away from it not looking at ace green. So as soon as it got this pop, it popped up to 276 here. That is when I got out. I got out at the high of the day, which which is great when it happens, because you know you didn't leave any money on the table. I kicked myself I didn't get in down here at 14, and I could have easily 14, 28, 42. I could have about tripled my money, or all but tripled my money, if I'd have been a little more patient and got here when it covered that gap, which it's known to do. But this is what we're all doing it for. We all are training and learning to be more patient, stick to a plan. I wasn't sticking to a plan here. I was really just praying for a run up, and that's exactly what it did. So thank goodness that happened and got me back to profit. So to recap my trade, I got in after it crossed this line at 26 cents. Waited it out until it ran all the way up to 42 cents, which luckily was the high of the day, and sold out for let's see, I think I profited like $16 profit after fees, which is great considering it's about $32 total. But as far as I didn't check the numbers completely, I just checked the percentages. The percentage was 62% gain. I did a 62% gain in a matter of an hour and a half, which is awesome. Wish I'd have had my $200 in there, that account at that point, because that would have been a huge win. But it's coming, and you guys are actually getting to see what you can do. So hope you learned something. Comment below and let me know what you think. Anything that you see that I could have done better on, please let me know. I don't mind any critiquing. And if you did take something from this, let me know. Comment, share, like, subscribe, because these day challenges, as long as I have time at work to put in some time to do a trade, I'm going to do so. Thanks for joining me again, and hopefully tomorrow I can bring you another successful trade. So, see y'all.